Welcome to another edition of Africa Sideways. My name's Big Six Simpson and today I'm going to be saving you some money. Top 10 tips when buying a second-hand car. Don't be a statistic of somebody that buys a pile of crap because they got duped by a dealer or didn't look for the telltale warning signs. So when I'm looking for a second-hand car, the first thing I do is narrow your list down to 2 to 3 reliable brands. Reliability will save you money in the long run. Expensive flashy cars equals expensive flashy repairs. Generally Toyota, Honda, Suzuki, reliable Japanese brands, and Hyundai, reliable from South Korea. If you look on the JD Power ratings, at which are some of the least reliable brands, your German manufacturers come up there more times than not. You know who they are, they push the boundaries, they make beautiful cars, but each little bit of innovation stretches the reliability. The Japanese cars tend to stick with the same technology for longer instead of trying to innovate the whole time. Innovation is good, but reliability is better. Number 2, don't look for love in the wrong places and don't look for cars in the right places. Look on the big websites, the reputable websites, the reputable dealers. Do your research, Google the dealer. If you can, on a private deal, Google the person on Facebook. See how they live their life. Are they organized? Do they look reputable? Follow your gut on that. If it looks too good to be true, generally it will be. Number 3, if the pictures look rubbish, don't even bother. Don't even bother. If something looks gammy on the pictures, don't do it. My rule of thumb, if it doesn't have a spare key, I will walk away. That means the person just doesn't give a Scooby. Having a spare key is a good thing for a responsible person to have. If you lose it, you can have it on hand easily, and it's not that expensive to fix with slightly older cars. So anybody that hasn't got their spare key falls in the category of somebody that hasn't been maintaining their car. A key tip is look at the brake pedal. If you've got a car with 100,000 kilometers on but the brake pedal is worn, you know that car has been tampered with the odometer. The same with the steering wheel. If the steering wheel's fallen apart and it's got 120,000 miles on it, walk away. Somebody's jippoed with that thing. If it looks too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, hit the bricks, ladies and gentlemen. Number 4, make sure that all the doors align properly. Open the doors, open the boot, make sure it sounds good. If it doesn't open and close properly, more than likely it's been in an accident. Also, number 5, look at the color of the paint. If you've got different color, if your doors are slightly different shade of blue to the rest of your car, it means it's been in a side accident. The same with the front end. If the color of, if your lights are, if the light protectors are clear on the one side and slightly faded on the other side, you know that side's been in a front end accident because I've had to change that with a new one which is clearer. But over time, all the light bulb covers kind of go a little bit yellowish. So number 5, look out for those front headlight covers. They're very tell signs. Same with your brake lights. If they look different, they've been changed. Check under the car for any oil spills. Number 6. Do that before the car's been started and after it's been run. You'll often notice a little bit of dripping after the car's got warmer that you might not have noticed early on. So definitely look underneath. And if you're buying a 4x4, look for any bangs and scratches and bent oil sumps and those kind of things. If you see that, you know it's been heavy off-roading and it's not the car for you. Number 7, look at the tires. If the tires are worn and shoddy and only got 10% left in them, you know the car hasn't been looked after that well. If they got a decent set of tires on with 60-70% tread left, you know the person's not just selling a car that's been giving them trouble and hoping to offload it. Obviously check for full service history and make sure that it hasn't been jippoed. Look at the color of the paint. of the ink. If the ink is the same, looks the same from the 150,000 service to the 15,000 service, you know that's all been written in one day. So you really need to be a Sherlock Holmes when you're buying a new car to avoid wasting a lot of money. Then open the bonnet up, look at the engine, open the oil cap, look for any gunk and grime around the cap of the cap for the oil. That tells a story. Any gunk and grime and yellowishly white sort of powdery stuff means your engine is not looking good. You want to look at the exhaust pipe as well. Is there any black smoke coming out, especially with a diesel? There will be a little bit in the beginning if it's an older car, but if it's still blowing smoke out after 5 minutes, run away. You know that there's potential problems, head gasket problems, and all sorts of things. So once you've gone around the whole car, looked at the wheels, looked at the doors, looked at the paint, look at the upholstery, look at the pedals, look at the steering wheel, etc., etc., then it is time to drive the vehicle. Does it start first time? Does it struggle to start? Is the alternator working? It should start first time. Is the wheel alignment right? If somebody's selling a car with a wheel alignment like this, you know, when I'm selling a car, I want to sell a car that's in good working order, with a full service history, and I can sell it with a good conscience, because I don't want to sell it to some lady who's pregnant with a baby and driving down the road and she gets stuck in the middle of nowhere with a little baron. That's not a good deal. You want to be buying a car of somebody that treats the car like you would want the car to be treated. Much like people. When you're driving a car, you turn the radio off. Very important. You want to be listening out all the time for little bearing noises, bits and bobs. Any dodginess you find on the car, make a note of that, because if you are interested in it, it's not too bad. You want to use that as a negotiating tool down the line. Make sure it drives, stops perfectly, check all the gears. If you're buying a four-wheel drive, put it into low range, put the diff lock on, make sure that everything works. Put all the seats up and down, put your seats back and forward, open all the windows, switch all the lights on, do a full check. Don't fall in love with a car on first sight. You need to do your homework, ladies and gentlemen. Getting to our last 2 points, once you've driven the car, it's time to negotiate. So if you've gone through the checklist and it comes out pretty good, well, actually better than pretty good, if it comes out well, a good negotiating tool is to go at 15% under asking price and work from there. And when you're doing it, mention, if you've heard any little things, mention that. So I hear that bearing's a little bit, needs to be replaced, and there's a little bit of wear on the back seats. Any excuse to bring the price down. So start off at 10 to 15% and then go from there. I'd generally go at 15% asking price, and I'd be settling on 10 to 5% discount. And then when you're negotiating, finally, don't be afraid to walk away. The person who's got the least invested has the most bargaining power. So the ability to walk away, if you know that there's not 5 people waiting to see the car, often the dealer will call you back, or the private person will call you back and say, okay, let's make a deal. But when you're negotiating and you're buying it off an old man and old woman that's really on pension and you can see it's well priced, don't negotiate with somebody that can't negotiate. If it's on at a good price, pay the fair price. But if there is room to negotiate, if the dealer's inflated the price, don't be scared to come in at 15% and work from there. So all in all, the main points is do your homework on your car. Source vehicles from reputable dealers and websites. Review those websites. Know what you're looking for when you're driving a car. Don't get romanticized because you've always wanted to have a particular type of car that everybody knows is unreliable, and just for sheer shits and giggles you go and get that car. In the long run, you'll be the biggest loser. Keep it reliable. Keep it simple. And if you're ever in doubt, get your mechanic to have a look at the engine. That is a great insurance policy. There's plenty of pitfalls out there, but there are plenty of good people selling cars, plenty of good dealers selling cars. Find those people, get out there and make it happen. Catch you next time on Africa Sideways.